Ghostwire, Tokyo. Cool game. It's not bad. It's aight. This game's weird. It's something I was looking forward to since I saw the... I don't know if it's E3, Game Awards, I don't even know anymore with all the different events. But basically with Homegirl doing the dance, Homeboy, yeah, basically I was looking forward to it since I knew about it. Because I was... Not only the presentation, but... Well, honestly, the presentation stood out to me more than the game, but... Even the game was like... Ghostwire, Tokyo. Okay. I'll bite. Like, dude, if I was a fish in the water, that would be some bait that I would just... I don't know. I would have been all up in that and not thought twice about it. But I feel like the more... I didn't know a lot about it before I played it. I didn't know anything. I saw like 5 minutes of gameplay from a live channel. Like towards the very end, that was it. I went in really blind. Like, I saw one or two short reviews that, you know, obviously didn't really say much, or it's just cutting from one thing to another and then blah blah blah, this and that. Yeah, I didn't know much about it ahead of time, but I knew enough to where I was like, you know what? I love it. I love the theme. I love the mask. I love it. It looks good. It looks clean. But other than that, I didn't tie together a lot of things that maybe I should have going in. Cause this is one of those games for me where it's like, hey, I don't know if I would have gone out of my way for it, but it would have been on my radar for sure. Because when I go through like the PlayStation store, for example, especially the games that are on sale, whatever, all I see, anime games, all over the place. Something anime-ish, something Japanese-ish, related-esque. There's even a few games with the word Tokyo in it. That's really not that hard to find. I think that some games and movies or whatever, they really mooch off of that name. They really use it to, like, hey, it says Tokyo, it must be good, right? Well, that may not always be the case. However, Tokyo Ghoul is good. I'll give that credit, but there's a lot of stuff with Tokyo in it that doesn't look that great to me. It doesn't stand out, it doesn't pop, it doesn't... In this game, I don't know, I feel like it's a very underrated, underutilized game that's out there that I think some people may have missed out on. Or they knew about it but maybe didn't play it, or they played it but didn't think much of it, or I don't know. I feel like something went wrong here, something happened where... But who knows? I mean, I could be totally wrong. All I know is that there is still a community for this. There's still people out there playing it. I think a lot of people that I have stuff in common with have played this or whatever, something like that, right? They know about it, whatever. So that's cool. I don't know, this game is weird because, like, it's got so much potential, so much going for it, but it just falls so short with, like, marketing or commercializing, I don't know. I think they depended so much on so little to kind of carry the game, and but you know what? I had a lot better time than well, actually, I don't know. I kind of knew what I was expecting. Because at first I was like, dude, the combat looks kind of meh. Using hand signs and, like, you know, like, dude, if I'm gonna do that kind of stuff, I'll just play Naruto, you know? It looked messy. It looked kind of chaotic and stuff everywhere, particle effects. I mean, these Slender Man guys are like, when you sneak kill them, or I mean, basically attack their core, they're like looking at you straight in the eyes, but they don't have eyes. They're like looking back at you as you go up behind them and tear their heart out. Like, why are they looking at me as I'm tearing their core out, dude? That's just awkward. I'm sorry. It's just, that's kind of the biggest weird thing for me. I mean, other than that, the game is a little weird, but it's not too far off from... It's goofy. It's Bethesda. It's Tango. And that's another thing. I didn't realize it was Tango at first. I didn't realize, like, oh, The Evil Within. Horror survival. And now you got this paranormal demon, ghost hunter, exorcist, random game that takes place in Shibuya, and there's like this generic Amon Legend of Korra kind of guy, bad guy. You know, we've seen this all before. I don't know, it was pretty cliche, it was very tropey. But which is weird for me, because, like, I don't know, Bethesda games like Doom, Wolfenstein, Evil Within, games that Bethesda's involved with, whether it's Tango or not, whether it's Machine Games, whether it's id Software, yeah, I mean, they're all so good. They all meet that quality standard. Like, they're really pretty, really good graphics, a solid presentation, story, overall gameplay loop, mechanics. But it's weird though, because a lot of these games, they're so good at X amount of things, and it's like everywhere else they find somewhere to fall. All these games, and sure, you got Skyrim and Fallout, that's way different. That doesn't fall in the same category as these games. And the other games I just mentioned are kind of the only comparisons I can really think of to this. Even though, yes, this is very specific to Japan and all these things, which has nothing to do with these other games, kind of. It still retains that, like, formula and that style of, like, hey, we don't take it too seriously, but it's very serious, but you got a lot going on, like the stakes are high, and I don't know, they find such a great way to, like, combine that goofy comedic humor with this very heavy kind of tone. And I think playing this is just another game that gave me more perspective of what these studios do and what this type of game is, and games related to it that are similar, whether it's genre, whether it's the studios involved, whether it's anything in between. So I got a lot out of this game. I was like, you know what? I think I needed to play this. I think it would have made sense. I've played a lot of other stuff, if not all of it, most of it. that you probably would have played aside from this. That's what we do. We kind of play these same games that we're drawn to, and we have this kind of bond with it, and this shared energy. So I don't know. It was a good, nice little fun experience. Cutscenes are cool.
I liberated your spirit from its prison, yet still you cling to mortal flesh.
That's right. Came back for you.
Yeah, there's so much to say about this game. I wasn't crazy about the combat. It looked generic. It looked cool enough for me to be interested in it. Getting it and actually playing it, completing it, spending over 70 hours is kind of another thing. And that's what I did. Not even gonna go there, but yeah. It was I don't know, I just enjoyed it. I got it because it was a Japanese city tourism simulator. And I was like, you know what, if I have a game that's cool, that stands out. All I knew prior, I didn't even put the Bethesda and Tango and like all these things. I really didn't know much about the game at all beforehand. I knew that there was a cool looking bad guy and you're in Japan and it looked pretty cool. That's it. That's all I need. But even with that said, like, that was kind of the point earlier. It was like, dude, just because something takes place in Japan, which most Japanese games do, obviously, whether it's anime form, whether it's this, even something with Japanese names in it, that still doesn't always mean that. I don't know, they know what they're doing. That's what they've always done. That's what they're going to continue to do. That's what they're doing right now. So I knew I was at least going to get that out of it, like a good solid Japanese game. Let's go. I'm all for it. It's a nice contrast and mix with other stuff that I do play. And if I'm not far off from only playing Japanese related games. I end up having kind of the best time with them. Just makes me feel at home. It's comfortable, it's cozy. But even like JRPGs, I mean, sure, like, I don't know. I feel like I just go through them all and not. Some games do stand out to me a little bit more and some don't. I'm not saying every Japanese game is perfect, but they're up there, you know? And for me, that's the thing. Like, I will take a game that takes place actually in Japan versus like something that's Japanese made that doesn't take place in Japan. Because that's kind of the whole point here. That's what I got so much out of most animes I've ever watched, is the fact that they pretty much all take place in Japan in some aspect. That's what I need out of my games as well. That's the whole kind of carryover and transition that I end up having between the two. Two very different things, two very different forms of media, but you know, when I play these Japanese games, I want to be immersed. I want to interact. I want to have some immersion there, because that's something you don't necessarily get out of anime, because it's a very different experience. And I just want more of it. I love consuming this kind of stuff, and nothing will change that. But there's so much to say about this game. Like, even as I was going through it, I was like, a lot of stuff went through my head. I was like, hey, I love these designs. I love how there's like no blood, basically. Kind of. It's very PG-13. It's very, you'll get so much inspiration and references. They reference their own studio pretty well. They really, like, dude, I think the tango symbol is sweet. It's like a snail with the T and the eyes, and the O is the shell. It's genius. But you'll get all kinds of stuff out of this. Like, I felt like I was playing a cyberpunk game. It had the rain, it had the neon lights, it was dark the entire time. But it obviously wasn't cyberpunk, it wasn't too far into the future, but it was so stylish and so, like, clean and so... There's even some EDM elements here, which, hey, the game really surprised me. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. But the things I didn't like that I knew about ahead of time, I still didn't really like those things. So even how much I did end up liking it didn't quite make up for the things I knew I didn't like already. Which is fine, because there was so much that I ended up liking anyway, where a lot of that other stuff kind of just was whatever, right? Yeah, you'll get some cyberpunk vibes, you'll get some grudge vibes, some Ring. Some of it was actually really creepy. Like, I got a few jump scares. It's kind of scary. It's somewhat counted as an action RPG. It's got that Bethesda side to it, right? But it's like a horror game, kind of. Open world. Yeah, the biggest comparison to I could name so many movies and games that this could be very similar to, which is good and bad. But the biggest comparison I could think of beforehand was playing The Evil Within 2. Same studio, everything. This was obviously very different. In probably almost about every single way. Other than the influence behind it, which was the Japanese culture kind of side of it. That kind of mix of Eastern and Western. That was still pretty relevant here, but this was so... They took The Evil Within 2 elements of what they did in there, the Japanese stuff, the good shit. But then that's all this was kind of like, boom, we're gonna do this like for real. You are so... You're in it, that's it. Which I was all about. But yeah, The Evil Within 2, very similar UI, very similar gameplay loop mechanics, kind of. Exploration. Even somewhat the story, a very deep, heavy, family-driven yeah, the game, the thing, I put in like 70 plus hours. There's a lot to do, there's a lot of grinding, it'll keep you busy. But you know, the best part of it was just exploring for me and looking around and being kind of literally in my own little world. And that alone was probably one of the best things I got out of it. But yeah, The Evil Within 2, very deep meanings, very spiritual, very trippy, very mind-bending. So basically, I mean, hey, if you've played The Evil Within 2, if you've watched these movies, you're gonna like this game. There's so much in it where they squeezed in a lot. I don't know how they did it. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of cool historical things to know, and it's very educational. Learn about a lot of things you may not have known about before. Another big thing was this was in Shibuya. And the only other games Like gameplay wise, this is like Evil Within 2. Not even Evil Within 1, like very much Evil Within 2 specifically. But it had that Yakuza kind of everything else vibe to it, right? So in Yakuza, you were only stuck in like one city basically every single game, just like this. Yeah, you can go to a couple side little cities here and there, but mainly you were in Kamurocho, Kabukicho, whatever it's called. So yeah, this big giant Tokyo city, and so I think it was really cool being in Shibuya specifically, because I was like, dude, I've spent so much time in one city, in one game franchise for so long, so many hours, whatever, and it was so nice to kind of take that, put that somewhere else. Now I'm in this city doing all this stuff. Everything's very architecturally accurate, landmarks, whatever, blah blah blah. Obviously, you know, it's still a game, so it's not all 100%, but yeah, basically it was good. It was a good time. I'm kind of sad it's over. I want to play more, and the funny thing is I can jump in any time and play more if I wanted to, but it's like, you know, I put in my time, I left happy, and I don't regret it. I think it was a great time to play this because of what's going on with me or whatever. And I don't know, it's really not the same the second, third time around or something, right? Like that first time is so special to me. But I had a great time. I really appreciated the game and respected, and I'm really glad it's a part of my gaming profile and my... I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm really proud. Gameplay's cool. Yeah, there's great cutscenes. It's got that Bethesda AAA quality you'd expect. But yeah, this is a game where it's so specific. Like, if you don't like Japan, even if you're a Bethesda fan or what, I think you're gonna have a really weird time. Cause dude, that's all the game is. Like, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know if it's a game for everyone. If you like this culture at all, I mean, that's probably gonna be enough for you. Yeah, I mean, and whether you just play it or not because of the fact that it's a game, I think you're gonna get so much more out of it if you just really love kind of what the game is and what it's all about, what it represents, the messages it sends, all that. And yeah. But the gameplay, I think hand signs are cool. I love Naruto. A big thing for me was the whole gloving aspect of it. Like, the whole time I was playing, I actually had the costume where you had gloves on. But the gloving thing is like a rave EDM thing that I do. It's like my hobby. And so it's kind of this whole weird extra side thing. Very specific little niche kind of activity that's out there. I don't really know how to explain it. LED gloves, raves, lights, colors, strobe modes. Anyway, that was cool to get out of this. I looked at that aspect of it more than the Naruto stuff, which is kind of funny because if anything, it'd probably be a lot more based on the whole Naruto deal, right? But I was able to connect with this game on a personal level because of my hobby, because of the thing that I do. Dude, I have a lot of muscle memory and hands and arms, and it's an expression or like a dance or like an art form. And I don't utilize it in the same exact way as opposed to like actual legitimate hand sign stuff, but it's so similar. So the point is that, like, dude, you got Japan, you got the mask guy, Hanya, whatever the heck his name is, the colors, the EDM stuff, the studios that are involved, the gloving. Dude, I found so many reasons to not play this game, and once I started, I was hooked. Like, I was like, okay, I think we have something here. I didn't give up. I didn't just do the story. I didn't cut it short. I didn't half-ass it. I was like, dude, I am all in, man. I'm gonna do as much as I can in this without going too far, and I'm gonna milk it and make the best use of it that it's too easy to do. It's probably one of the most enjoyable games I've played in a minute now because it was just so personal. And that's something I don't get out of a lot of games that often. Because some games are just so random and so out there and just they exist and like cool, they look interesting in this way or that way. But this was like, dude, I absolutely loved it. It's what I'm used to, not only gameplay wise, but everything behind it. Like, it was, God, it was so good. Granted, it was some downsides. It is goofy, it is weird, it is wacky, which I kind of wish there was a more serious tone to it. I wouldn't have minded that, but I'm glad that was there, because that's what made it what it is, and I kind of I get it. I would love a Ghostwire too, honestly. I loved the family morals of it. It's all about family. Yeah, not to mention, you can't even get this on last gen. Like, this is a next gen only title. So that's cool though, you know. It's very PlayStation-esque to me. I guess I heard it's on PC too, but I mean, you know, it's come on. God, I don't know. I was actually really excited to kind of finalize and summarize this game up because there was just so much to talk about. I just love it. Usually I don't have a whole lot of things to really say about a lot of things because it's just, I don't know. Yeah, there was an extra game mode I didn't do. I basically played like 90% of the things that there is to do in this game. I don't see me coming back. I think I had my fill. Playing a second time, I don't really do any of that. Going back in. That's why I did what I could now, so I don't have to worry about it later, you know? I mean, I played it during a weird time. You know, you always got real life stuff going on or whatever. I spent a lot more time playing this than I wanted to. It took I do wish that I kind of maybe would have just tried to enjoy the story a little bit more, because when you have games with stories that are open world like this, it does tend to get a little muddy and like you lose track of what's going on. But But I spent so much time with the game that by the end, that's when I think it really hit me. It was like, wow, I really feel connected to this game right now. I've invested so much time into it, and it made me really appreciate the game more, especially once I was able to focus on mostly just the story. And I'm not running around, story here and there, looting, leveling up, blah blah blah. So yeah, I connected it with it on a very spiritual level. And yeah, I'm really glad I played it. I think anyone can appreciate this game about the same way that I do. But you're probably only really gonna have a handful of people that are gonna be like, hey man, this game actually kind of meant a lot to me. I think it was a very great insight and perspective on a life that I've never known and never will know, and naturally that's just kind of those are the cards that were dealt. And so yeah, in a way it is kind of like good and bad. Just the way that I kind of see the game and the way I feel about it and think about it, and but ultimately it's good, it's great. There was more good than bad. I think it took a minute for me to really figure that out. It obviously took a day or two to really try to get the combat down. I was still struggling quite a bit. It does get pretty fun. You do get a lot more powerful as you go, but man, it's a rough start. It's slow. It's a slow start. It's confusing. You don't really know what's going on. As simple as the story is, it is very it's very I didn't like the story, but I didn't hate it either. I mean, if it's simple and it's effective and it works, great. It's definitely something I've seen many times. You know, possession, sharing bodies, saving your family, especially siblings, sister, taking down the bad guy. You know, the bad guy's got good standards and morals. You feel bad for him, but hey, you still gotta take him down, man. It's you know, there's nothing really new here, but it's in a Tango Bethesda style. It's the only game that's gonna deliver exactly what this is to you, for you, and that no other game will be able to exactly fill. It is a thing of its own. Yeah, I just I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Ghostwire Tokyo.